We are checking in this morning with Hamilton Mayor Fred Eisenberger. Good morning, Mayor Fred.
Morning.
So I understand that today, after the discovery late last week of the remains that were found at the former residential school in Kamloops, BC, that the City of Hamilton is doing a number of things today in response to that.
Yeah, and I think the least we could do is to help mourn the loss of these children in a very tragic way in Kamloops. So we've instructed our staff to put all of our municipal service center flags at half-mast for 215 hours or 9 days to reflect on and mourn and memorialize the 215 souls that were lost during the period of the residential school, and would certainly make a confirmation that we continue to work with our Indigenous strategy to for truth and reconciliation in these very difficult issues, and hopefully get to a better place on how do we rectify and atone for some of the mistakes of the past.
I understand as well you're urging people to wear orange for the day.
Yeah, and I missed it myself. Unfortunately, I was hoping to wear my orange shirt, but I definitely encourage people to stand in solidarity with our Indigenous peoples by wearing orange. I've got a little hint of orange in my little poof here on in the jacket, and it really does symbolize a solidarity with our Indigenous people. And I think everyone in the country can appreciate why they would be angry and why they would be mourning, and I think we mourn with them.
A lot of anger I saw on social media this weekend, people asking when is the statue of Sir John A Macdonald in Hamilton Square Park? When's that going to be removed as a result?
Well, there's no plans to do that other than there's a maintenance issue that the statue will come down temporarily. But it's a, a discussion that certainly can be had. I'm not a fan of eliminating historical figures, but I am a fan of putting them in a better context and providing more information about not only their successes but also their failures. And I think that's the appropriate thing to do. So that's a conversation we're going to continue to have, and I'm sure that will come up in due time. And I'm hoping that we find a balance to ensure that people have a good understanding of what our historical leaders did, positive and negative, and ensuring that that history is reflected accurately.
Because we have such a large urban Indigenous population, don't we?
We do, and we are working very diligently on our own urban Indigenous strategy, and I think truth and reconciliation, has to be revisited, not just occasionally, but I think it's got to be part of our ongoing work going forward. We're providing, out of the $50 million that we set aside for more affordable housing, $10 million of that went directly to the Indigenous community here for their self-determination in terms of how they were going to provide more affordable housing in their community. And we know that the Indigenous communities are most hard hit as a result of homelessness and other factors. And so there's every reason for us to be considerate and focused on how do we help our Indigenous community get through.
Taking a look ahead to transportation issues now, it's my understanding LRT goes before council this week?
Goes to council at GIC on Wednesday. We will have Metrolinx and representatives from the Ministry of Transportation come and explain their funding scenario with both the federal and provincial government. As you know, delivered $3.4 billion of capital to help make this arrangement happen. I believe that they're going to come back with basically the original memorandum of understanding, which basically set out what they were going to be responsible for and what the City of Hamilton will be responsible for. And then we'll entertain questions and hopefully provide direction to staff to create another memorandum of understanding with the federal provincial governments on how we're going to proceed on realizing this great investment.
And how long before it goes to council as a whole then?
Well, I would like to get this done quickly. We already have an MOU that was done previously. I don't see that there is an awful lot of additional things that have to be done, so we have to reinstitute that. So I would like to see it come back within the month, so beginning of July. So we're at the beginning of June right now. If the next GIC thereafter might be in 2 or 3 weeks, and I'd like to see it come back then so that we can finalize this issue.
Okay, that's all the time we have for this morning. Mayor Fred Eisenberger, thank you for joining us, Mayor of Hamilton.
Thanks for having me on, Annette. Thank you.